4, 3.
We'll do it live.
Now we're live! Erin Kennedy. The general craziness of it, the impact on your life.
We have gone through so many stories and we said, you know what? This should not be kept to the two of us. Hi.
Hi.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Can I tell you a little story?
Tell me.
So my mom is allergic to Parmesan cheese.
Oh my
So-
God, that's terrible.
It's horrible, isn't
I
it?
love Parmesan cheese.
But listen to this. So for many years, I was like, I hate Caesar salad. I just don't like Caesar salad. And then I tried it and I was like, hot damn, I love this.
So
Why?
hold on though. This had to have been before you met me
Yes.
because you gave me a great Caesar salad recipe that I still make.
Follow where I'm going with this, Erin. It was
Okay.
before I met you, though. All of a sudden, I was like, I tried it and I was like, I love it.
Delicious.
Because like, it just was not something that I don't want to say we were allowed to do. We just didn't have it because it
Never
made
had
my
it.
mom sick.
Yeah.
So you're not going to eat
Yeah.
Caesar salad. Similar thing to these earrings. I am looking at myself right now and thinking, hot damn, I like these earrings. I would have never worn these on TV.
those-
It's like
are
my
those
Caesar salad.
Are those Nadri? Am I pronounced it? I might have the wrong word. Do you know the brand name?
I know.
It's like a nice pave, right?
Actually got them from Willow's drawer. Where she got them, I'm gonna guess my mom to bring
Oh
this
my
full
gosh.
circle.
Well,
But
they
I
are
was like,
beautiful. They look very nice. Yeah, I know I'm
that.
not an earrings person.
I know, but I feel like I should have been. And I think the reason I wasn't is because I was like, well, that's one thing I won't get in trouble. I just won't wear them at all.
Yeah, no, those
Nope.
would definitely not have been allowed.
These earrings and Caesar salad. Yeah.
So, in honor of Thanksgiving, do you remember this dress? This is my pilgrim dress.
Yes.
I busted out at Thanksgivings, and that's it. This
I
was
like-
one of the ones I got, though. Just a straight dress after I had
Right.
one of my babies because it was comfortable and easy.
But I mean, it looks cute, but
It's cute-ish. I did get critique.
it's not your typical vibe. It
No.
is quite Puritan.
But I was told by a news director before that I dress too conservatively.
This is in the time when they wanted like boobs out.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I've told you this before. I'll have sternum out, but it's not going to be boobs. He goes, you have a tendency to wear really high necks. That's what he said.
Meanwhile, a high neck on me could still bring out the cleavage. So it literally needs to be a turtleneck.
I was going to title this holiday Hijinks, and I realized I think I don't know how to spell Hijinks.
Yeah, I don't either. Is it Jinks or Jincs?
I did do CS, so we'll find out before I
Oh,
post it.
CS. Oh, okay. Well,
That's how I spelled it. I also want to do real quick, Megan, you jogged my memory when we were starting here, an episode about older people who work in TV news. There was one meteorologist in one of my markets who had an intern assigned to him to make sure he was awake when he was supposed to be.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
Oh, I've never like. You're right. This is a whole episode.
But I think
We
okay, I'm
continue.
gonna make it work. So here's how it works. In TV, you have these moments where you're at a 10, right? That's when you're on air, when things are happening, and then you go right down to a 0.
Yeah,
When
you mean after
nothing
the
is
show's over?
happening. Yeah. You can't, and here's the thing with TV, you can't work ahead and you can't get behind, right? So there are some moments where you're like, right?
I have
Which-
nothing to do.
Which is also really not fun when it's a holiday and there's nothing to do because there's no news and you want to go home, but you're not allowed to go home.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that. For example, Thanksgiving. If you work at many of the television networks, I think most of them have something that they're going to air right after the morning show, and sometimes
Or cut into the morning show.
cuts into the morning show,
Yeah.
which means you're not going to see the light of day, but you probably won't even see the light of day in your midday show or the end of your show. Yet sometimes you are not allowed to leave because your shift is still your shift, which normally you just kind of sit there and chill. On a holiday, it is viscerally painful.
Yeah, and we're going to come off maybe a little bit entitled, but we're just going to lean into that right now and say, yes, the reason it was frustrating is I think at every station I worked at, Megan, it was you got the holiday off depending on seniority. We've talked about this before, right? So it's not like there were 5 awesome holidays and you got to pick to have 2 off. If your co-anchor, because you weren't allowed to be off at the same time, if your co-anchor was off on Christmas and he had more seniority than you, guess what? He's going to pick all 5 holidays and you're going to have to work all 5 holidays.
Yes. And like, as we have discussed before, that's the way it worked for you. For me, it was because I was part of a weather department. So that pool of people, we needed a morning shift and a night shift every day, 7 days a week. So if there were like, if there were 2 people ahead of you, you were working the holiday, chances are. And I always had 2 people or more ahead of me for the most part. So yes, you get stuck working the holiday unless you beg, borrow, cheat, steal somehow to get your way out of it. Like I, in the past, chose to work like 3 doubles leading up to Christmas Day so I could have Christmas Day off. Like that.
Right.
I could work a deal.
And as much as you love your coworkers, because for the most part, you do, they were people who were generally older than you because they had more seniority. They'd been there longer and they felt like they had already put in their hours, right? So even if their kids were grown and out of the house and maybe not even back home, they would have said, sorry, I'm taking it off because I had to work them for 20 years straight. And now it's you. And that was also like kind of a knife in the heart sometimes because your kids are young and they, Santa's a thing. So
100%. I remember being very upset at probably every job I worked because like I said, because I was moving up quickly through the industry, I wasn't staying anywhere long enough to get seniority. So I was low man on the totem pole, low man on the totem pole, low man on the totem pole. Like I personally was moving up in the industry, but I wasn't moving up in seniority because I was changing stations, even within a network. If you change to, from like New York to LA or LA to wherever, you still are not gaining seniority. So, oh God, it hurt my feelings so much. And I would like to think that I would have been a better person like later down the road, but I'm not sure because those people worked every holiday when their kids were babies and they were hurt and cut to the quick so many times that by the time they get their chance, you're sure they're going to take it. You know what I mean? And I would like to think I wouldn't have, but I don't know. I might have been like, you know what, damn it, I've worked every holiday for the last 20 years. It's my turn. I don't care if you got triplets at home who are 4. You know what I mean? I want to hope, but I don't know. I
would hope that my better self would say, all right, I'll give you 1 holiday out of the 5. Anyway, that's not how it worked with me, but we're going to talk about how we had a real perverse sense of humor to try and terrorize all of our coworkers because we were being kept at work against our will. So I just want to underscore the obvious though here. There was no work to be done in the newsroom. No. Almost always after we were done with the morning show on a Thanksgiving, which was often done early because there was football and parades and this and that.
There's nothing for us to do.
Right. And like I said, you can't work ahead. And also every office and government building, everything is closed. And generally there's not a lot of crime because most people are home and it's cold.
They're eating turkey. Yeah.
Yes. So we would finish our morning show and have nothing to do, but we weren't allowed to go home because there were so many 5Ks and whatnot that the big concern was, remember, if there were a shooting.
Yes.
In the middle of a 5K.
That which would have happened. But then of course I always took extra exception to that because I'm like, even if there's a shooting, I, as the weather person, won't be on. You're not going to need to know the trajectory of, the bullet based on the wind or something like that's probably not going to happen. So unless the weather was really also bad, I was always extra kind of just like, come on,
Right. So we would finish the morning show and kind of putz around the newsroom. And what are they called, Megan?
When we were extremely obnoxious. Like I remember running around like, like just being,
you're just hoping somebody would be like, all right, guys, just go home.
Leave. Right.
Go
Like,
home.
I see you, go home. Yeah.
But what were they called that we would do, Megan, on the desks? Okay. It's those things where, you put your hands,
press
we were on the
handstand.
assignment desk doing the things where you lift your hips up into the air as like a huge abs workout. Do you remember? So we were like nose to nose with the person on the assignment desk. Super annoying.
Anyone who knows me knows that my annoying level can go Mach 90, and it was on fleek that day. I was literally like, we were pressing up, like trying to do like handstands, running around. I mean, going in the meeting, like,
and I think it did
totally
work. I think they did end up sending us home that day.
that year. Those press handstands worked.
Press handstands. So that's what they're called. Yeah.
There's no way in hell we would have gotten up to handstand, but we were trying.
The point was that we were nose to nose with the people who were making decisions, being really annoying.
Can we go home now? It's just, I think you're aggravated already that you're working a holiday. And then when you're working a holiday and it's like, but there's not even a show, and you're like, come on, let me go home.
Yeah, I don't know. I always, I'd love to give people the benefit of the doubt that, there were always reporters in house. And of course, if something huge happens, you want to be there, but you could probably scoot back quickly. So I don't know. I see both sides of that, but we were only seeing it from our side then.
Yes, I do see both sides to it. I 100% do. No offense, Erin. A little more for you than for me.
I'm not offended. I'm just a little bit more important than you.
You were. I mean, my importance was only in one region of the whole newscast.
Yeah.
Like, if the weather was bad, I was important.
And you would have had to stay, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If the weather was great, I can leave, right? Yeah. Technically. Couldn't, though. Yeah.
Well, we did have some people who would leave early, and then it would be kind of like hey, call me if something happens, if something's going on.
I think I tried that once or twice. And by the way, I also remember, so then picture it. So you go home. Now you've worked a day. You still woke up early regardless. If they let you go a little earlier, if they didn't, you're still now going right into Thanksgiving. Like immediately, my cuckoo clock is going if you hear it. But then you're going right into Thanksgiving. Then you're inevitably staying up way too late. You're like turkey coma. You're drinking whatever you're drinking. Your family, everybody. I always had a feeling of resentment as well towards my family members who didn't have to work the next day. Like it always just, I wasn't mad at them, but I resented the fact that I still had to get up the next day, the day after Thanksgiving, when like God's green earth is just going out, like shopping for a Christmas tree or relaxing or sleeping off the turkey or going on Black Friday shopping. And I was just going into work 2:00 in the morning.
So there's not a worse feeling than having had a really big meal late at night and waking up at 2 a.m. You just feel terrible.
Do you remember how, and this is totally kind of a side subject, but kind of not, because I think it's all related. When you push your body like that for months, years, weeks, and you are going, and you're not getting enough sleep, and then you run into the holiday time period, okay? So already I think when we come into the holidays, we're running a deficit. But during the holiday season of November and December specifically, I remember pushing it way too far.
Yeah.
I refuse to miss out on stuff. I'm going to go to the party anyway. I'm going to go shopping anyway. I'm going to go do this anyway. Plus you're like filling all your extra time with shopping and getting stuff ready for the holidays. So I can remember not only being like stressed out about working the holidays, but feeling literally like by the time I rolled into January, like I was limping on one toe into the newsroom. Like my legs and arms were gone. I was flailing like I was barely surviving. So Erin and I used to also be like, does your heart do that weird thing where it feels like it's beating too much? Do you remember that when we both thought we were dying? Does yours do that anymore? Because mine doesn't.
Geez, only if I'm like super stressed out, which I'm rarely anymore. But,
That's right. So
or this would be in our newlyweds game, Megan, when we do our test to see how well we know each other. The fact that I know your elf on the shelf's name, Seaball, how every December morning that you would have to come in and say, oh, I forgot to move Seaball.
We should put a warning on this one. But yeah, I was like, dang it. Because it is not easy to remember to do something at 2:00 in the morning above and beyond what you're already doing, which is breathing and hopefully driving somewhere. That's about all I can handle at that time in the morning.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh, yeah.
I can't remember
Seaball.
other hijinks that we
Seaball
did.
has the flu.
Seaball.
Seaball was sick.
Yes. That's okay. Sometimes Seaball doesn't move. Sometimes Seaball is tired. Other shenanigans that we did, was there any?
We did always, now, I do remember we were always a little aggravated initially because if you work Thanksgiving and you're on the night shift, you get like a full catered Thanksgiving dinner and it was beautiful. And there was a time where we would get like bagels. And we were like, how is this fair? Now it did improve. Thank you to someone who helped us in many ways. Then all of a sudden realized the inequity in this. And we did end up having like a full catered breakfast with bacon and eggs. And it was like super yummy. But that's another thing I think that newsrooms don't always necessarily think about. They're like, oh, for the people who work Christmas dinner, Christmas time, we're going to give them a beautiful dinner. Well, what about the poor bastards in the morning who are like just barely hanging on? They need something too.
Let me pull up a picture. I can't do a video that you have, but
I'll show it. I'll show it. Get the picture up first. But yeah, guys, I mean, like, picture it. You're already stressed out, holidays, blah, blah, blah. You just need some love. You know what I mean? You just need some love in the form of, there was our breakfast. There's our friend Marissa Bailey. Yeah, Lee's in there. Look, we enjoyed ourselves in those times. And those times actually mean something to you when you're on the morning shift and usually it was a bagel and now you got some good stuff.
Well, and again, that's why you just love the people who are there with you because they're in the trenches with you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share your video? Because the only other thing that I would say was I would always ask for Friday off after Thanksgiving because I felt like it was almost a wash to work on Thanksgiving because, you just want to be there for dinner. But you'd like I said, you'd like to stay up late and have a big meal and not have to get up early on Friday morning. So I would always ask for Friday off and I never got it off.
I don't think I did either. This is what our Thanksgiving looked like.
Okay.
This isn't a very big party.
I, in that moment, don't know where everyone else had gone, but that was our director, Joe. Sitting alone with his Thanksgiving breakfast.
Joe brings the party. A huge conference table.
And I think I remember going upstairs to eat my breakfast and being like, where's the food? And why are you the only one here? Oh my God. But guys, there were times where we could really, though, have some fun with some stuff. So like, let's talk World Cup because it obviously has recently started. And Erin, this is a question for you before we get to it. How would you have been pronouncing Qatar?
Oh, I saw this as a thing now, and I should have done my homework, but because I'm not in the biz anymore, I didn't. I would have said Qatar.
Yeah, I would have said the same, and I don't know what it is because again, I'm not in the business either.
Did you read the headline and then scroll past?
Exactly what I did. I'm like, I don't have to say it anymore. There are some moments that happen like that, but regardless, when the last time the World Cup came through, we did have some fun with it. Like, because we had little TVs and when the show was over, we could just clip that TV over to the World Cup and just check out the hot guys, basically.
Well, I think we had done a public bracket too, right? Yeah. Which we shared with viewers. Why would we have done that though? Because that wasn't on CBS, was it? I remember doing it for March Madness.
No, that was me. I decided we should do that. So I made a weather graphic that was our selections. Like that was not verified from above. That was me going rogue, I'm pretty sure.
You didn't get permission for that?
No.
Oh,
or if I did, they were like, "Okay, but we're not making a graphic." And I was like, "Fine, I'll make it."
Yeah. People are going to watch this show and be like, they were real pains to work with.
No wonder they're not working in the business anymore. Listen, I don't know, guys. Like, you can be so good only so long before something hits your point. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. In whatever job you have, there are some days where you're just like, not today. You know, it just doesn't matter what job you have.
Yeah,
I
no,
think.
totally. And I think that's part of it. When it's funny because the news is different every day, right? The weather is different every day, but you're still doing the same thing every day, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
at some point, you want a little bit of infusion of fun. Like I remember there when the prompter would go down, normally you'd be like, oh, face melt stress. I'd be like, all right, a new challenge. Let's do it. No prompter today. I got it. Because it was
Oh,
just something fun. Yeah.
something fun and a new challenge. And that's what I think. Honestly, that's when I started to realize that I wasn't 100% enamored of the business anymore. Was when it was very hard for me to get excited about stuff. It used to be, oh my God, there's a big storm. Whew. But you can only do so many of those before a big storm feels like the other big storm. And you do your best on it, but you've just done it so many times that you don't get those like butterflies in your stomach anymore. So it was few and far between towards the end where I would be like, yeah. Or like we would do promo shoots and I would purposely not read the promo at all because I would say to myself, I'm just going to test myself and see if I can pull this off
As in
without it.
memorizing it or what? The message. You just didn't want to see if you liked it.
Nope. I just, sometimes we'd have a prompter and I'd be like, I can read this. I'm just going to wing it. Just see if I can. And it was basically that. Or like, Megan, do you want to read through this script first? Like if I ever had a script and I'd be like, nope. Why?
That's
Because
why.
I was testing myself to see if I could do it blind and cold in that moment.
But that's how
Usually I
come
did.
you ended up with your promo, Go Dance in the Rain.
I forgot about this. Should have read that one.
Megan was very upset about that promo.
So not me.
I wouldn't tell somebody to dance in the rain. That's dangerous. You could get
What if there's
struck by
lightning?
lightning. Yeah.
And also, it sounds stupid and lame, and that's not me either. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, we've all said things that we didn't want to have to say, though.
The very first time where there was like profound sadness for me for working a holiday was early on in my career, though. It was when I was
Was
in
it with
Lubbock
kids?
and I had to work Easter, and I did have a roommate because I made $18,000 and I had to have a roommate.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
went home to her family and I was working at the station and it was a skeleton crew. And that was there was no afternoon show and I got to leave at like 8 a.m. I was done. And it was just me, alone in Lubbock, Texas, where I don't know a soul. The only
Mhm.
people I know are other TV people, and they've all gone home to their families. And that was, I was really, I think I had a frozen dinner that night, and
Uh-huh.
there wasn't FaceTime then either. Not like,
It's awful.
yeah.
Oh, it's awful. I can remember times and like once I was married, it was me and Lance together, but like I would know sometimes that my whole family was getting together back at home. And it would be for those holidays like Easter or something where we didn't have anything planned because it was like, well, it's Easter. You know what I mean? It's okay if we're not together for that one, but it
Yeah.
still cuts like, and in that moment, or how many 4th of Julys did you not get to see the fireworks because you fell asleep or it just didn't feel worth it?
4th
Yeah.
of July was almost the hardest because, well, especially in Chicago, especially in Humboldt Park, they would start doing the fireworks
Yeah.
really early and it would continue. So I was not sleeping like that whole week. And that was one of Matt's favorite holidays because remember, he's a big marching band guy. And so he
Yeah.
would love to go and look at the bands. And so it was all missing 4th of July was always tough.
That was hard. I agree. And my neighbors would always have like a giant party. And I think I've shared this story before, but if you've missed it, here we go again. I was on this mission from God that I was waking up in the middle of the night extra early and I was going to get my workout done before because I am not like a at the end of the day workout person because I hate it hanging over your head. I want to get it done. So I was like, well, I'm going to get it done anyway. Like my life is that I have to wake up at 2:00 in the morning. Well, then shit. Poop. I'm just going to wake up. Really put a warning on this one.
I know this one's going to have a lot of disclaimers. Yeah.
I'm going to wake up at 1:00 in the morning and I am literally just going to work out and that's it. Well, I decided I would
hold
do that.
on though. So you were up at 1. What time were you in bed? 11,
10,
10.
10:30.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
And then I would get up at 1 and I would come downstairs and get on my rowing machine. Look, that was not good rowing that I was doing. But anyway, in this particular time, it was the 5th of July. So I had gone to bed early. I managed to fall asleep. Lance and the kids all came home, I thought, from the neighbor's party. And I figured that they were all asleep in bed. Well, I get off my rowing machine and I look outside and the pool lights are still on next door. And there's Lance in the pool with
Drinking
a
a
beer,
beer.
with a bunch of neighbors. And I was like, what I just remember in that moment, like I wasn't mad at him, but I was literally like,
No, you were a little bit mad. Yeah.
I probably was because I felt like I should not have to suffer alone.
But see, that's the whole reason too why you were getting up at 1, Megan. There's some like part of you that is just angry that you have to be working. And then so that's compounded with like, well, I'm not gonna let this affect my life and I'm still gonna get my fitness in and I'm gonna do it and gosh darn it, right? But you're just
Oh.
angry doing it. And then that's so hard to not carry that around with you.
It is. And there were many, many times where I would be really frustrated, especially around the holidays,
Yeah.
trying to figure all that out. And like extended family or whatever, wanting to know what weekend we'd be available. And I didn't have my schedule yet. And no one could understand why I couldn't just have Christmas off and blah, blah, blah. And that just put extra stress on it where I was like, I don't know what day I have off. And I started stressing about it in like July, sometimes March, sometimes January.
So in case anybody's wondering kind of how that worked, we would get comp days. You got comp days too, right? It was the same. Yeah. So you got 5 comp days. So essentially you were expected to work all 5 holidays. And when you did, you could use them at another point.
Yes.
So we didn't get, and I mean, this goes regardless for how long you were on air, how long you stayed in the, building.
This was like part of the union thing.
Yeah, you got a salary and you got comp days. So we never got time and a half. I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about the fact that I had to work holidays and that it wasn't a choice.
Yes. And for me, sometimes because it was a weather department, and I'm not even just talking about my last station or my second to last station. I mean, every station I ever worked for. If the weekend person had more seniority than you, there was a chance that if Christmas fell on a Saturday, you were going to have to come in not only on Christmas, but also on your day off because they had seniority. And that was always a tough one to swallow.
We're not even getting into the fact about how low the numbers were on holiday mornings.
Yeah, nobody was watching. I used to always go on like a campaign to try to convince the general manager and news director just to run the Yule log.
That probably would have gotten higher numbers.
Just Christmas music and a burning log. It's better than us in that moment. We weren't at our best. I don't think.
Our abs were, though, doing those handstand push-up presses.
Heck
on the
yeah.
desk. In dresses, too, right?
Oh,
Right?
yes. Oh, no, Erin. We had pulled
Put
our
on pants
sweatpants on under our
Under.
dresses. I think we were wearing our dresses, sweatpants, and Uggs.
Just what I'm wearing now.
I have sweatpants on too, but no Uggs. Guys, we should do an episode about the way we rolled into the station because that is clutch. And I can tell you something right now too. Like it is not just the two of us. It is not just local news people. Everybody rolls in for a morning show looking like they just rolled in.
I want to do an episode, Megan, on when we were on the talk because when I went down with them, my hair was pinned up and we were going to have the meeting to discuss the show. And I came down in my t-shirt and my hair pinned and no makeup at that point. And they were like happy that I hadn't put myself together. Cause it was like, oh, look, she came down like, she's comfortable coming down like this. And I was like, yeah, I clean up good. That's all I need to do.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, nobody rolls into a set looking like they're gonna look later because quite frankly your makeup's not gonna make it the whole way through the show anyway. You got to put that on kind of last minute, but I don't know, there's a whole nother thing though. I remember thinking like some of those folks at the higher levels, man, they got a producer for everything, hair, makeup, clothes. You literally just have to be good at the words coming out of your mouth at that point.
Yeah,
you got to be real good at the words coming out of your mouth though. And mad props to him for reaching that level. But once you reach that level, it really is still pretty sweet. We had Mark G and Greco on talking about the fact that, the industry isn't what it used to be. it's probably not what it used to be at the network level either. In fact, I know it's not what it used to be at the network level either, but it is still better than local, regardless.
But as we know, network is often not paying the salaries that even locals paying because they
That's
pay you with your ego.
Yes, yes, yes.
They pay you
There's
with
a
ego
couple things
strokes.
you hear. You hear that in the industry, and you also hear about stations in very warm places paying less because it is a desirable location to be in. So it's like if you're going to go try to work in West
San
Palm
Diego.
Beach or something or San Diego,
Yep.
probably not going to make that much money unless it's LA because there it's the second biggest market in the country.
But still,
Yeah, but
making less and
still,
less. Yeah.
they pay you in sunshine, is what they say.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. I think we've beaten this dead horse to death.
Dead horses died. Earrings held up.
You look very nice. I think we're going to end up doing this episode around every holiday because we carry so much PTSD with it. We're going to be like, it's almost Christmas, Megan. Remember when we had to work?
I still really get like a sinking feeling. I
around
don't
the
even
holidays?
realize I don't like Christmas music. I used to like Christmas music. I don't like Christmas music
I
anymore.
don't like Christmas decorations.
I don't like Christmas decorations either. Like it just because for so many years the holidays were really just stressful
Yeah.
and more to clean up or put out when I was
Yes.
exhausted. So I do not have a good feeling about it.
Me either. I said it was clutter. Matt ran to Walgreens one Christmas morning to go buy us like a sequin tree to put in. And even I was mad about that.
I mean, we put tree up always and like did some decorations and stuff, but probably just because I felt like I had to, you know what I mean? And the kids, like that makes me want to put them up. And now I start to feel a little bit more joy at it. I still don't like Christmas music. I don't, I mean, I used to. So what changed? It was too stressful. And the Christmas music literally that I would hear in like November would make me go, crap, I gotta work, you know?
There's a word for that now. It's called triggering.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was triggered. That
You're
Blue
very
Christmas song might be the only one I like.
All right. Hey, we wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Please like and subscribe. I'm still not saying that enough, Megan. You
I
need
know.
to say it and remind me to say
And we
it.
need to put a warning on this one for saying things that only big people should hear.
I agree. I did that once on air too. Remember when I did that?
I remember being like,
Chris Gutierrez, I think, saved me somehow. I can't remember how.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye, Megan.
Bye.